Yeah, hi guys, it's Paul from Lockgate Stoves. I'm just going to take apart a TOBY DVR regulator so that it helps our customers out and anyone else out there who does have one of these on their stove. We're going to take it apart, put it back together, tell you what to look out for, what to clean and what to keep clear, and check moves, etc. So, little screwdriver, flathead screwdriver, 2 screws at the top. Best when you take this off, if you just turn it to number 1, what that does, it stops all the spring mechanism popping out when you take the lid off. Just take these 2 screws off. It should. 2 screws, that'll lift up and come off. That's the mechanism. So if we set to number 1, what can happen is, if you have it like that, sometimes this pulls off and the whole thing will spring out. So if it does, it goes together like that, if you can see that. And then that little rod part will go back under there. That's setting number 1. That's the top plate. So inside, what you can see is the float mechanism. So if we were to lift that, it drops the floats. It won't trigger until that. So that part works all right. This part here is the main jet. Sits straight underneath the grey knob. And the bit to look out for on here, if you blink you'll miss it, is that. Can you go for? There you are. That tiny little gap there. Sorry, excuse the nails. That tiny gap there. If you get a bit of muck on there, that can slow down or stop flow to the burner pot. So it's worth clearing that. What you can do, you can hold up to the light, see straight through it, blow through it, and that will clear it out usually. Hold up to the light, you see clearly through it. And that's that part. So internally, if you ever need to take this out, which you generally never do, never locked up in there. It's 1 screw holding the whole float mechanism in. Take that screw that's loosened off, lift it like that, lift the whole unit out, and that's your float mechanism. That's your inlet valve. So this valve here goes in the brass housing, little slot inside there. That's the shorter one at the bottom. That slots in there. That regulates the fuel from the filter area at the bottom up into the reservoir inside the regulator. So when you put it back in, ensure that goes into there. It can be a bit tricky. It's easy to do on a workbench, I know. It's not so easy to do around the back of a stove. But once that all goes in, you should be able to press that down, hold it with your finger, lift that, drop the floats, and flick it back. The mechanism, so you know it works. Put that screw back in. Should flow nice, quite easily until you pinch up at the end. It's only a pinch up at the end. So just pinch that so it's there. Again, lift that, should drop the floats, lift that, should set the floats. Got a spring on there, it should sit on that nipple there, and then slot in. So we'll do that. There you are, it should float about there. This part that sticks up here goes through this gap here. Through there. Press it down firmly, and that will hold it in position. 2 screws. Back. And after this I'll show you where the filter is and what to look out for on the filter. If it has fuel in and you do all that, obviously make sure your isolation taps and thermocouples are all turned off, so you're not going to get fuel peeing out everywhere. Filters in the back, again 2 screws. So when it's attached to a stove, expect about 100 ml of fuel to come out of here. So have a little Tupperware tub, something to catch the fuel. You've got a silver plate, 2 silver screws, silver plate, black gasket, and it wants to come out. There you are, black gasket even, and the filter just there. Use a screwdriver, pop it out. That's a washable filter. Just make sure it's dry when you pop it back in. It'll only go in one way. See that nipple there? That wants to be facing down. If you do get it in the wrong way, it won't go flush. Just take it out, turn it over, pop it back in, goes flush. That's your filters. So gasket goes on, plate goes on, screws. And again, when you're doing these up, finger tight to start, and then we'll pinch them up with a half turn, or nearly a half turn, good quarter turn. Yep, and that's your lot. Don't forget to lift your lever before starting your stove again.